Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Networking the No Rules Way with author Christy Smallwood. Today, our topic is going to be what not to do. So we're here every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. So we encourage you to join us and talk about networking. Of course, we both are virtual networkers. Christy is also an in-person networker. So she has got the dope. She's been teaching this for a long time. In fact, soon we have some workshops coming up that she's developing that will be live. So we're very excited about that. So good morning, Christy. What's happening?
I am looking for the book link so I can share that out.
That's right. Thank you for looking for the book link.
There we go.
What's not working, Preston?
Networking, not working.
Oh, you think he meant networking?
I don't know, but I am teasing.
Little bird is not working?
What I had to do is I think they're trying to attach a picture to that as well. I hit the X to take off the little picture part, and it went through just fine.
And mine was spinning, so I waited until the spinning stopped myself personally. That's what I did, and then attached a picture too.
Yeah.
So you have shared the link in the chat box there for everybody, because the people that join us get the opportunity to read your book straight off of Google Drive. And I know that we've had a couple of purchases of your book, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much.
Because I've seen those happen. That's pretty cool. So today's topic is we're going to talk about what not to do. So I'm going to let you take over. Sorry, forgive me for yakking when this is really supposed to be about you.
Actually, it's about all of us and the subject of networking. So one of the things I wanted to do was just figure out when you're because there's two worlds now. We have this virtual world that's starting to really build, and how do we network in this virtual world?
Yes.
Versus the handshake method. Because I'm struggling with stopping to say face to face. I can't say face to face anymore as the live because everything's live virtually now. So so
you don't get to physically shake someone's hand, but it's still the handshake method, right?
It's still the handshake method. Whenever you are physically going somewhere to meet people. That is the 2 weeks ago traditional face-to-face model. Now we're doing this kind of stuff through Blab, and whenever we intentionally set things up, we now have virtual platforms that we can come together. The only thing I can't do is reach across the table and actually shake your hand. So that's the only thing that really limited us as far as the change of platform. Now, there's some things that I think that we can do the same way, and there's also some things that are still annoying virtually as much as they are when you're in a handshake situation. So let's talk about those things that, this is kind of one of those weird things. We like to keep it all positive, but there are certain things that you see going on in the room that are the don't do that, the pet peeves. So let's see, for those that are in the room so far, what are your pet peeves whenever you are experiencing a networking event? What are some things that you guys have experienced that you're like, no, that's not for me?
That's a very good question. And we've got a hot seat, you guys, so you're welcome to pop in there. I see Steph with an F. I see Carissa. Welcome. Preston, you're always welcome to pop in. So let's talk about some of the things that annoy you, whether it be in person or virtual. Okay, One of the things that annoys me, and the same thing happens virtually as it does in person with this particular one, I call it the pigeon syndrome, where somebody just flies by, drops their shit, and keeps going. Yeah. Even on a virtual meeting, I can tell when somebody is looking at me long enough to introduce themselves, and then they're scanning their screen for the next victim. And they've moved on from me. And people do that exactly the same thing in person, do they not?
Yes. In fact, it just happened last week. I entered a chamber function a little on the late side. There was a good 30 minutes left to it. And yes, Stephanie. This is why I knew this would be a fun topic today.
She knew I was going to bring that pigeon syndrome up.
Yes. And so towards the end of it, people, if they've not met everybody in the room and they feel like that's their goal is to get to everybody in the room, Then what they do is they start doing these drive-bys, and you know, the pigeon syndrome thing. They do the drive-bys of, here's my business card, here's my business card, here's my business card. And it happened last week. It happens frequently because they just don't know the consequences of doing something like that for themselves. They don't know any better. I'm here to teach, okay? Because I want a better networking experience with you. So I want to help build this relationship. So we had a lady who was who entered our little circle of 4 people talking, and she's like, hey, I just want to give you my business card. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, I don't know you. And at that point, I honestly, being a longtime networker and very comfortable with it, I had no desire to ask her what she did. I'm like, you give me the card. Okay. It says right on your card what you do. Done. You don't need to say anything
how
more.
do you handle that? How do you treat somebody like that? Clearly that annoys you, but
yes, it's annoying. So it depends, honestly, let's be real. Okay. I'm very real about it. Let's be real. It depends on my mood. It depends on the mood. If I've just had enough of that kind of stuff, I may not even talk to them very much. I'll just say thank you. I'm cordial about it, and they will naturally move along because there's no real conversation. If they've not started a conversation with me and I'm not in the mood, I may not start a conversation with them. I may just say thank you and be done. If I'm in a very energetic networking mood, like I definitely want to know more about everybody that's in front of me, and I want to live in this moment because I'm also a coach. So I want to be able to live in this moment with you. I will look at their card and go, oh, tell me more. What do you do? What's your story? And I just let them talk and become more of the detective and figure out where I want to put them in my network or if I want them at all. And then that way, towards the end of that conversation, I will ask, how's it going with just handing out your business cards? Because what that does for me is it allows me the open door to say, you might need a little help on this method. I train on that. So
really, now that's an interesting take. Okay.
Now, now I have a third thing. If I don't care to get a client, but I want to be nice, okay? So I've gotten her, this is what I did last week, because I was kind of in that middle of, I'm not here to get a client. I'm just here to be with people tonight. I brought her into the conversation. And since we were all women, I don't have kids, but I know that kids is an easy topic. You know, what'd your kids do lately? And did you ever do this? And as a mom, it is an easy topic for women to talk about kids or pets, or, you know, that's a common ground. And even I know, having cats, I had 2 cats, and they never really grew out of the toddler stage. They're still going to scratch on the door when I go to the bathroom wanting in. They had needy moments. So it's an easy topic. Bring her into the easy topic. And she's a single mom managing on her own. And we started talking about it, and she was sharing some of the challenges that she has, and the moms were sharing with her. The other ladies had kind of walked away to finish up their networking for the night. And I was still with this lovely single mom. And I did a coaching moment with her because she didn't know what to do. So I just actually did for her. I was there in the moment with her. And sometimes when I do that, they cry because it's a really important moment. It was like this epiphany happened, this light bulb. So I actually was able to provide a good moment for that person when they needed it. It was a ministry moment for me. I'm living in the moment. So I have 3 things that I do. Do I just want to connect with another human being and not worry about the rest of the stuff? Do I want to be cordial and kind of dismiss you? Thank you for the card. Or do I want to turn it around and see if I need to work with you as a client? Those are my 3 moods when I get a drive-by. A lot of the time,
fly-by, pigeon syndrome, fly-by
syndrome, pigeon syndrome. And see, the funny thing is now I'm going to start looking at these people like they're pigeons.
You'll recognize the birds. I want to just, Faith says, it takes quite a bit to irritate me. Each person is a business personality and character. If no room for that to be done, then no room for growth. I choose to focus on the positive, thus my own attitude remains focused. I don't allow my feelings or control my actions to control my actions or attitude. It's not worth my energy to allow their actions to affect me. But there are ways that you can make those actions benefit you, Faith. Correct, Christy?
Yeah, and just in that whole, for me, what I do with my industry, and that's a lot of coaching and training and development. I'm able to look at them again, and I can have that conversation towards the end once I figured out where they are. Are they a good fit for me as a client, and are they open to that? Then I change the conversation to a sales conversation. So now we're no longer just building the relationship. I'm actually looking to see if I want to do business with this person.
Mm-hmm. Does that help at all, Little Faith? I mean, I'm sure, everybody has their own way of networking for sure, but I think that we can all learn to do it better.
Yes. And you know what, Faith, to your credit, it takes a lot of energy and effort and practice, because a lot of people do not know how to not allow somebody else's actions affect mine. So kudos to you, because that takes a lot of personal growth right there, to not let somebody else's bad mood affect me, or somebody else's pigeon moment to affect me, because for me, I'm like, you just bless your heart. You don't know any better. Let me help. Or bless your heart, move along. It depends on it. For me, sometimes if they're nasty about it, then I don't want to mess with them.
Well, when I get a pigeon, I always take their card, frankly, and I will reach out to them later after the fact. I'll send them an email and say, hey, met you here. I'd like to hook up and learn a little bit more about you. So believe it or not, that will soften that blow in a lot of ways. For me, that's the way I do. I have a set of cards this thick from a recent local networking that I went to, as I told you about. And I don't usually go to these things, but it was so perfect because people were not allowed to hand out their cards. They actually had to walk around and just meet each other and say, hi, hello, what do you do? So the first question out of everybody's mouth to everybody else was, what do you do? Not, here, I'm going to fly by and drop my shit. So.
And so that question of what do you do is really, in that environment, is a rhetorical question. We're all there to talk about what we do in business, but do we really, like, if I got the bottom line of you're a chiropractor, or you're a massage therapist, or if you sell juice, or if you are an attorney, or if you do contracting, if you're a salesperson, what you do automatically gives us the box. And every single one of us have a perception of what that person does. Mm-hmm. So I really need to make sure I get to know the person, because how they are doing it is coming out through the way that they are as a person. So everything, personality, gender, even birth order, are they the middle child, or are they the first child, or are they the only child? Sometimes, and their personality are they a type A? Are they a really compassionate person? Where are they in that spectrum? Are they highly analytical? So how they do what they do comes out very differently across the board. Because I have two doctors that I work with. One is very social, can talk to everybody. The other one is highly analytical and not great bedside manners. So they do the same thing. So it's hard. That's why that question of what do you do tends to be kind of rhetorical. It's like, how are you today? Great, fantastic. When in fact, it's deeper. We need to be able to go deeper with that.
Mm-hmm. So just a reminder, everybody, that we are networking the No Rules Way with author Christy Smallwood. She has shared her book with us on Google Docs. You might want to enter that link again, Christy. You can also find us both on networklivevirtually.com, where we host live networking events similar to this. The difference is that we have 25 people that are available to be in a room with audio and video, and you do get to exchange contact information. Christy Smallwood is actually the site's networking teacher. So you'll be able to find her classes there, her live workshops there very soon. So again, Christy, sorry. I just want to remind everybody, please tweet Little Bird, let them know that we're here. And Christy, let's move on to what else. And we've got an open hot seat to you guys. So what else should we not do?
The over market. Okay. So we just talked about the what do you do question. So when somebody asks you, what do you do? Keep it short and sweet so that you can then connect as a human, like the mom thing. Keep it short and sweet. What do you do? Because if you continue to over market, whenever you go into this diatribe of, oh my gosh, this is what I do. This is how I do it. This is the history of the company. This is what we do for everybody. Here's all of the things that we have to offer. And I had one person who went so far as to say, and if you don't do this, if you don't use my service, then you're just stupid as a business owner. It's stupid to
What?
not. Oh yeah, that's the one I write about in the book. That's why I even have the little thing on the front that says, "Hello, my name is Dweeb," and I have the like that line. Yeah, that's the dweeb. So I try to tell people, don't be a dweeb. Don't do that. Um, because there's a line, and watch people's body language with that. If I start to zone out, you've given me way too much information. If I'm not asking questions, if I'm not coming back with you engaged in this conversation, your conversation's going nowhere very quickly. If it's a one-way speech, your dissertation is not enlightening me whatsoever. I shut out 5 paragraphs ago. So it's not a matter of, yes, what you have is important, but to have the other person actually take in that much information. Remember, if you go back to science and communication classes, you have a sender of a message and you have a receiver of a message. And in between all this, there is a ton of noise going on. There's a lot of noise going on. So how do we cut down some of that noise? Is we have to give smaller bites to get through, like a laser, instead of the shotgun effect. You can't just cannon everything at people all the time. So this is what makes for great conversation too, is whenever you can this is the pace. You want to go back and forth with it. That way they're tracking with you. So everything that you have that's important to say, pace yourself and develop questions for that other person. And if you make it more about the other person anyway, they're going to be interested in what you have to say.
I think that one of the things with now the fact that so many people can virtually network in so many ways with Blab and Periscope, and Periscope's really for more for presentation. Blab is really more for discussion. I don't know how, a lot of people talk about Periscope and having a lot of followers on Periscope. I'm not really sure that I understand that whole thing. I'm not sure how I convert them. So maybe we'll have to get somebody in here one of these days that can tell us all about that. But what I wanted to say is that I still find that the things that you're talking about that happen in person absolutely happen online. I mean, people will pop in, drop me their contact information, or they'll drop into my group, drop their ad, and boom, they're gone. They never stop to, to ever say anything. But I still, in turn, will reach out to those people. And, but I think this is the reason I'm saying this is I think that we have a huge opportunity in the virtual world right now. It is time to teach people how to connect, because they're doing all the wrong things. Don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. We've gotten into, my theory, this is my opinion, society as a whole, because everything has gotten so digitally driven. We've already heard out there that the millennials or whatever, there's this new generation of people, and it doesn't matter that the generation's new. We as a people have gotten into the habit of being so attached to this thing. We don't know how to have this conversation. We are having these conversations, and these conversations don't translate to here very well. So this is a lost art at this point, and I'd love to be able to teach people that. So yes, as technology advances, like Blab and like Periscope, it's not just especially Blab, because Periscope, you can do a show. Like, here's the commercial, here's everything. It is the presentation.
Yeah, Periscope's all one way, really.
Periscope's the one-way speech, okay, which is great because I can see people in Ireland, fodders in Ireland, showing me Ireland at 8 o'clock in the morning. But with this, we're interacting. And so we need to learn how to talk to each other again. Now, the thing for you is you've had these pigeons that have dropped in and you have reached out to them. So one of the things that does, depending on what you're saying to them whenever you reach out, is now they get that, oh, that worked. So they're going to do it again.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I almost kind of validated their flyby.
Yes. And that's why I added on, depending on what you're saying to them. Because if you also add in, hey, next, I appreciate that you stopped in. Just a heads up. We don't, this method may not work everywhere. this is me and my core values reaching out to you right now. So
really, maybe what I should start doing, Christy, not to interrupt you, but when I do get a pigeon that flies by, maybe I should really reach out to them and explain to them that would kind of help train that behavior, huh? And reach out and explain to them that the appropriate way to fly by my networking group or fly by me in a live one-on-one networking situation is to go ahead and land.
And not only land, but if you need tips to help make those efforts better, you should join us every Wednesday morning for our blab and join our show on live virtual networking and take some classes. So give them a structure of, hey, this can help you. This is turning it into a sales conversation. Take their inappropriate behavior, their ignorant behavior, and ignorance is not a bad word. They just don't know any better yet. Take that behavior and turn it into a sales conversation because they need help. We have something that can help them.
That is insightful stuff. Good job. Stephanie's got a whole lot of stuff that she's saying. Steph, you're doing a lot of typing. You should just probably hop into the hot seat. Speaking of pigeons, I'm telling a little bird again, definitely share worthy. Well, come on in and we can talk about it. Okay, so we've covered two things that are not what not to do. What else should we not do?
Well, I'm going to say it. Do not gossip.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. It's tough anywhere because, I mean, even I'm going to totally bash church groups right now. And I'm an old church girl, right? I get it. There's been a lot of times in situations where, we just need to pray for so-and-so because this is going on. And that there's a fine line in all of that. And there's a lot of stuff in the business community. So networking is typically under the guise of professional business conversations. When we are doing that, we don't need to gossip. There's a fine line. So don't edge towards slander because that's what gossip will do in business. You know, if it starts with, did you hear about so-and-so? Don't engage in that because decide what you want people to know about you in the community, whether it be online or our handshake method. Decide what you want people to know about you, and they need to experience that. So if you want to be known, like for me, I want to be known as a queen. Okay, I want to be that well liked. I want to be the legend, and the legend needs to live up to its name. And so if I'm going to do that, I have to have certain characteristics that are consistent. There are certain of them that I'm working on, I'm tweaking because we all have growth to have happen. And then I'm living out authentically. I don't have to fake it till I make it. It's a matter of being authentic, but I'm living the way that I want people to see me as well. It's genuine at a whole different level, but I would advise against gossiping. That's not good because there was one experience, and it wasn't a networking event. It was actually a sales conversation. There were two mail device companies. So get the automatic stamp.
Oh, for U.S. mail.
Yes, snail mail. You run them through, and it puts the mail postage on postage machines. And there were two separate companies, and I had to decide between the two companies. One company was very well known. The other company was local. Okay. So the very well known, and it was turning out that the local company kind of liked what they had. They were doing a really good job. Their service was at a totally different level. And the national company, that their salesperson had come in and totally bashed, like personal life stuff, bashed the local company sales guy. And I'm like, highly inappropriate, totally unprofessional, and you will never have my business. In fact, I will never, ever say anything good about your company because of you. So that's the kind of stuff to watch because you don't know the consequence that's on the other side of the table by you talking bad about somebody else. And that's what gossip can tend to do. And so gossip is that first level of talking bad about somebody. You don't want to do that. So
you never know who you're talking to.
Correct.
Right? I mean, isn't that a big deal? You never know who you're talking to. You start gossiping about people, and you might be looking at their brother, their mother, oh, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't know. So this falls under, if you ain't got something nice to say, don't say it.
Yes.
That's the other thing. If you don't have something nice to say, if you cannot keep a conversation positive in a networking situation, don't engage in that. Keep it to a separate blab. Whenever you
Mhm.
want to talk something, if you want to talk politics and you guys don't agree and it gets heated, if you can't be nice about it, don't talk about it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just kind of that simple. There's a professional level of repertoire we need to be able to have etiquette for. And whenever people start to get all hateful and nasty, etiquette's out the window. I'm like, no, there's no room for that in this situation. Everybody should treat each other with respect and kindness. Those are some basic things. If you are not being treated respectfully or with kindness, then you have my permission to walk away. It's you need to walk away from that. You can either stand up and say, okay, I have no room for this conversation in my energy right now. We can't go any further. I had to do this one time at a networking event because I was emceeing it. I was in control of the coordination, and the one of the guys had a moment and was very upset with me, and he got in my face and told me to go somewhere that was really, really hot. And I looked at him and I said, you need to back up 3 steps before you talk to me again. And he wouldn't back up. And I said, I tell you what, we're officially done with this conversation because now it's not only unprofessional, it's unproductive. And he just threw a tantrum and walked away. And that's fine because then I had to go walk to like the bathroom to kind of get all of that. Because otherwise I probably would have punched him. That's what I felt like. Bring it on. But you can't do that in a professional setting. You need to be strong enough that if it starts to get all like that, it doesn't happen very often, but there have been moments whenever people just don't get along and somebody's fighting with somebody and they're bringing their crap to the event, and you don't want that either.
Mhm.
It's nice on Blab because you could just hit the little X. As a host, you could just hit the little X or you can kick them out or whatever. As the host, you have control over that room. You can kick those people out if you don't like them. That's kind of nice too.
Mhm.
Because you have an emotional tone going on and you want to make sure that it stays positive, productive.
Mhm. Yeah, that brings up a whole new topic. Well, how do you control yourself when somebody gets in your face like that?
Yeah, that's
Wow. See, I don't know. Just like I'm telling you about the pigeons, get a flyby, drop their shit and leave. I don't even know how I'm not very good at keeping my mouth shut. So
um,
I'm not sure what I would do about that.
it's it's unfortunate that I'm become more practiced at it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an energetic level. It doesn't happen every day. Okay, mind you, it doesn't happen every day, but it has happened enough in my life that I now know, first of all, I, I need to stop and not say a word. Take a breath and really what I've practiced myself to do is look at the whole situation very quickly to say, okay, you're being an ass. Why are you being an ass? Is it because of me? Did I say something that's going to start this? And if I said something to instigate this, I'll apologize and see if that stops it. If I didn't have anything to do to start this, then I just need to stop it. Either way, I need to take control to stop it. How am I going to stop it? And all of this is like within, a 10-second conversation in my head while I'm just standing there looking dumbfounded. Because if somebody's just screaming at you, which has happened, or if they're getting a little irritated, or if they act disrespectful at any point, I will pause. I will physically pause myself and internalize as quick as I can what's really going on. What is the issue, not the person? Because as fast as I can get to the issue is what's going on in this conversation, more times than not, it has nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
Nothing. They're just taking it out on me. And it's fine. I got big shoulders. So I'm a big girl. I can handle it. However,
Right.
you don't need to act like this.
Mhm.
So what I typically do is I pause, I think about what is the actual issue, and I address the issue, not see you're being an ass person. So I don't take it out on whatever. I'm like, you are visibly upset right now. What is the real issue? And if they keep blaming me for stuff, and I'm like, then why are you yelling at me? Why not let's just separate, create some space and time here, and we'll revisit this later. Sometimes that kind of thing works too. My worst one has been you need to back up 3 steps before I kill you kind of moment.
Agreed.
Yeah. So really the short answer is having self-control takes pausing first. Try to get it to the issue, not the person, as fast as you can. It's the issue, because they may just be taking it out on you, especially, women to women, we may just be hormonal. And if we get to that point, we're like, oh, okay, got it. Not a problem. Come, let's get some chocolate.
Well, Chuck just joined us, and I know that Chuck has learned a lot about control. So we do have a hot seat open. Stephanie, Chuck, anybody would like to hop in there, feel free. I want to remind you that we are networking the No Rules Way with author Christy Smallwood, and we're talking about what not to do. She's placed a link in the chat for her book so that you can read it online with us. She has graciously placed it on Google Docs for you. And don't forget to tweet Little Bird. We are here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for 1 hour. And you can find us both at networklivevirtually.com, where we host live virtual networking groups. So we've talked about, let's talk, what are the 3 things we've talked about not to do so far?
Not to do. The overmarket. Don't gossip.
Don't fly, and don't do a flyby. Don't be a pigeon.
Don't be a pigeon. That's funny, because now I'm visualizing there's a video going around an open concert, and of course this bird just does one of those flybys right over the crowd.
Oh, in a concert? That's funny. Oops.
Yeah.
So what else should we not do?
Let's see, because there's all kinds of little things. I mean, for those in the room, has there been something that you've experienced yourselves as well? We bring that to the forefront. The other thing that I've experienced, I've mentioned this before, is so you're in this setting and you see somebody and they have mentioned they are connected to your dream connection.
Right.
Okay. So my personal example was I used to work at KFC, which is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh.
A little division over here is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the whole Yum system, because it's Yum Brands. So Yum Brands had 4 brands at the time. I was over here. In all of Yum, I'm right over here. But when I started my own business, and at the time the CEO of Yum was David Novak. There's a different CEO now. So when I started my own business and went out, and the credibility factor of what's your background, and like I used to work at KFC and I just left there. The first thing somebody asked me, he didn't even ask me my name, was, can you get me a meeting with David Novak? Like, no. Like, even if I did know him, just the fact that you have no interest in knowing me says, no, I wouldn't do that. Gatekeeper mode went on. You're not getting past this. Not even close. So when you have that person who is connected to your dream contact, don't mess that up. That person is now the gatekeeper.
Get to know them first so you can get through that gate. Don't just flat out ask them to open the gate, because you're right. Then the lock just went on. Beep. Nope, I'm all done with you.
Exactly.
Another one thing that I find that's totally annoying to me is that if I am out networking, and I do very little local in-person networking, but if I am at a local in-person networking event and I do strike up a conversation with somebody, or somebody strikes up a conversation with me, when I see their eyes going around my head, that indicates to me that they aren't interested in talking to me anyway. So why did you strike up a conversation with me? So here's a what not to do. Don't be looking around for your next target or victim or whatever the case may be. If you start a conversation with me, hang out and finish that conversation with me. Get to know me. Or if you didn't want to get to know me, don't start the conversation to begin with.
Mm-hmm. that shows that you are not present with that person and that person holds no value. That's the consequence of having that action. If you're scanning the room while you're talking to somebody else, the consequence of that action is the other person is no longer valued.
Mm-hmm.
And if they walk away from you feeling like you've shown, so Sabrina, you're scanning the room and we're talking. And then you walk away from me and I feel like, well, hell, I didn't even matter to that person. So now I just don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't know what that's going to do to somebody's ego. It's the consequence of our actions. Sometimes we don't realize, but that's what it does to the other person. So what I do is if I know I need to scan the room for somebody specific, or I'm just kind of, I will engage my other person to do it with me. So we stand like this, facing out, and we're both watching everybody. If I feel like I need to scan the room or I need to find somebody, I will recruit you, Sabrina, to help me find the person in the room. We can still have a conversation, but now you're helping me do something. Otherwise, I'm focused on you and this conversation right now.
Valid, very valid point.
The Maya Angelou, is that right? Had that quote that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if people, let's break it down to the simple progression here. If people want to do business with people they like, they need to know you like them too.
Yeah, I don't know who coined the phrase, but it's people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new phrase that I hear most. And like I said, I don't know who coined that, but I get to coin this one because Steph said I could. And that is that we have such a great opportunity to teach people how to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And Steph with an F is going to join us.
Yay!
Maybe if she can get in. Sometimes Blab is just a strange little thing. It doesn't like to let people in. You might have to back out and start over, Steph. I just don't know. So
let's talk about that, because I sat in on one of Charlene's morning mindsets this week.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And we had a pigeon. Okay. We had a pigeon moment. They came in and they didn't like her format, and they basically said so in the chat section and said how stupid it was and left.
So did she even bother to acknowledge that?
No.
Okay.
No, and good for her. It's not worth acknowledging. But the fact is, we see it. We see this going on over here in the chat or whatever side it is. For me, it's right here.
For me, it's right there.
So whatever things are going on in the chat that we can see in public, your conversation is happening. We can see this. That makes this at a totally different weirdness level. So keep it productive and positive and professional etiquette whenever you are in a networking room. If you're in a different Blab room where it's all just random and people can shoot the shit if they want to, who cares? Because that's the environment of that room. The environment of this room is we're keeping it professional and productive and positive. Is it useful, and do I bring value, and can we be slightly entertaining while we do it? I'm hoping so.
I think I just thought of another what not to do that we could add to the list, because we need to talk about virtual networking as well, not just in person,
exactly.
but the etiquette for virtual. Steph's going to try again to come in. We'll see if that works.
Cool.
But one of the things that I was going to say that we should not do, based on some of the virtual networking groups that I've been to, is when there's been a presentation, a presenter, and you're given the opportunity to ask questions, don't hope for that person to answer all of your questions. Find one that they can answer, let them answer it, and move on. Because you are taking up time that others are not getting the opportunity to answer the question or ask the question, especially if you're on any kind of a time venue for the event. And at networklivevirtually.com, the meetings are typically 1 hour. So, you've got a presenter who's supposed to do about 20 minutes with 10 minutes of Q&A, and then everybody gets to introduce themselves. But if you get, you can get drug into 20 minutes of Q&A real easy, which is kind of not fair to everybody else. Steph, I can see you trying to get in, but you're not coming in.
You're flashing.
Yeah, you're just flashing. So I'm going to boot you again, and I guess you can just try again. I don't know why you can't get in, so I'm not sure you know how Blab can be. Yeah, we just see you flashing. You're, for whatever reason,
It's like you're thinking about it.
Yeah. We know you're thinking about it. We just got to figure out how you get in. You know, Blab's got some weird little idiosyncrasies that happens all the time with it. So, you know, I logged on this morning and like the whole look was different. And I was like, wow. Okay.
I have to say though, this platform is really awesome. I've been taking Charlene's advice because I'm still new to this virtual world. Okay. All of my networking has been handshake style, hugs and howdies. And, you know, I kiss every baby I possibly can get a hold of because I'm not a mom and babies smell good. So most of the time, and when they don't smell good, I hand them back to mom. Right. So, that's typically been my world. So now I'm entering into this virtual world and I'm learning these different platforms and how to talk and what to do. And, exactly. And, so there is some really cool similarities that I could do with this Blab platform. And I'm excited to be able to start the show through live virtual networking. I can't wait because I know that there's some things that I can take from real life to virtual world. And I'm excited to see how that transition's going to work.
And some things that you can, there we go.
There she is.
Steph with an F finally made it.
Oh my gosh, what a trip. And I didn't even leave home.
I know, you've been trying like 3 times.
Okay.
So Steph, I don't know if you've got to meet her yet, but this is author Christy Smallwood, author of Networking the No Rules Way book. And you know that the link was put in the chat, so you can get that to read her book. So Steph, because we're networking the No Rules Way, tell us all about you.
I love things that have the word no rules in the title and the word networking. And part of the reason I was delayed is that I was downloading your book, Christy, and then I was looking you up on LinkedIn and on Twitter and on Facebook. I found some broken links, so I'll let you know. Just one didn't connect. It's easy. And I don't know. I just love the topic. I love that this exists. I've just been on Periscope since August 8th, and I just recently met Sabrina and have been really loving the virtual live networking platform. And I mean, I know it's been a small group in here, but I just thought the conversation, I was a little pigeon in the wall. I realized, I just learned so much from this small little blab here. I just think there's so much potential. And I realized too, Sabrina, I think I was doing that third no-no. I was asking too many questions in the last virtual live networking conference because I have a lot of questions. So that was a good reminder, because when I get excited about something, I know I get excited about something, which can be a positive and also detract.
Well, it can definitely be a positive, because the person who's doing the presentation absolutely wants those questions because they want to know that you have appreciated what they've presented and that you have some interest. But as we were talking about, you just got to be aware of making sure that there's an opportunity and time for everybody else in the room.
Right.
So I'm neither giving you the yay or the nay. That's entirely up to you to give to yourself. But yeah, no, I thought this morning's presentation was awesome. And we did end up having enough time because the groups are growing. So it's pretty cool. So what about some of the other what not to do's that Christy talked about? Have you found yourself guilty of any of that?
Is that why you brought me on here? No.
No, not at all.
I'm kidding. You did say, I also like that Christy said about entertainment, because that's part of what I am. I love to inspire the sharing of truth, do things differently, and do it in an entertaining way. So I look forward to getting to know you more, Christy, very soon. And I'm excited to know that you're the trainer in the classroom. So I look forward to seeing how that evolves. Hey, Coach Carla, good to see you. That's my friend Carla Henry. Hi.
Hey, Carla, we've got an open seat. Feel free to join us.
It's so fun. Carla's in California. I'm on the East Coast, and we can just sit in our homes and after a third time's a charm, get into Blab. So the second one was I was guilty of the other one. Not guilty, but I have experience, but now I'm forgetting what it was. Could you repeat them again?
So we went over the don't overmarket,
Mm-hmm.
don't be a pigeon,
Mm-hmm.
don't gossip, and so then we also talked about how to handle confrontational situations that may come up. So don't be negative or
Mhm.
confrontational.
And don't look around me. Like if
And
you're
don't
trying to,
scan.
yeah,
Right.
don't scan the room.
Actually, I had a question about that one in context of the whole now live virtual networking platform. So like I was feeling like I love the meeting I was just in with Charlene right
Mhm.
before this blab with and I guess I wasn't looking around the room, but I felt like I was because I was trying to type up my whole like bio and and then I was like, this is so wrong, but there's so much I want to say. And personally, I'm still at the beginning of my actual committed to my new venture journey. So like, it's always evolving for me. And I'm trying to not overshare and send too much to overwhelm people. But at the same time, I still haven't worked out the kinks as to what are my key sound bites yet. So in a way, that's like a new way of looking around the room. Like I wasn't looking for somebody else to talk to. I was just trying to get my stuff out there because I didn't really have my virtual business card really established just yet because it just keeps changing every time I'm evolving day by day, minute by minute.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that in the virtual platform you can really look around the room because you can't really look around anybody. So, that's more, I think that would be a more targeted for in-person type stuff.
Or if your kid's there on your lap or something. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say, I do know I like my eyeballs because I'm still new to all of this. I know if I'm trying to get into, I'm like looking for my book stuff. I'm not paying attention. Here's where we are right now.
Yes.
Or
So that you can tell that even in a virtual world, you can tell whether somebody's paying attention to what's going on or whether they're down here typing or reading their email.
Or what if I want to look up Christy on LinkedIn though? Is that, offensive or is that but you wouldn't know what I'm doing?
I'd be like, I'm looking up Christy on LinkedIn.
Like your body language is going to tell me whether or not you're engaged in the conversation on the screen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think I did anything wrong, but there are no rules. But I was feeling like, I wanted to come to Blab Confessions because that's one of the things.
No, Blab Confessions. Forget it. We're done with confessions. Tell Christy all about Steph with an F because there's no rules now.
It does no. I don't think of confessions with a negative connotation. That's one of the things about me. So that I formerly was a human resources professional. I worked in digital media for a digital media company in New York City for 3 years, and before that, I worked in media entertainment and other places. And I just decided I didn't want to be a human resources professional anymore. I'd simply rather be a resourceful human. And so that's kind of what I'm building. And so I love hashtags and wordplay and entertaining. And so one of the hashtags that I always wanted to play with was confessions of a human resource, because I believe everybody has their inner human resource qualities, and it kind of bridges more the spiritual, we all have what we need inside of us level, but the actual human resources platform of being in corporate was just a little too many rules, handbooks, So I left that position and I created my own consulting company, and I let it be vague. I just decided I'm doing solutions with Steph, whatever you need a solution with, because I love doing brainstorming and connecting people, ideas, and concepts. And I used to call myself an event junkie and networking junkie. I love to go to the events at my college alumni club in New York City for Cornell, and I just love events. I planned events when I was a resident advisor at Cornell for the transfer students in the transfer student dormitory. And I just love meeting people, but I'm also a Cancer, astrologically speaking. So I like to stay at home and be like a crab sometimes. So this whole world is like, it's like I'm speechless and I have a lot to say. So
I was going to say that whole event planning stuff, you're like me, you're a glutton for punishment. I mean, you just, because I will do events as a hobby, and some women have like crochet or whatever, knitting. I have friends who knit and sew.
Relaxing hobbies.
Right, relaxing hobbies. I don't like
people.
I like to do events, and they're like, "Are you nuts?" I'm like,
Yeah.
depends on the day.
So actually, I get that too, and I realize maybe what I love to do is I love meeting people, connecting ideas and concepts, and just thinking in a very creative way. And what I ultimately would love to do is connect people that have the common interest that they want to live with more purpose. And I would love to kind of promote and be kind of a directory for people and products that are passionate about living purpose-driven lives. And so I would love to connect the healers and helpers with the people who need them and best resonate with those people. And I'm figuring out, step by step where to begin. And I'm branding myself as Solutions with Steph, the good girl gone true, instead of good girl gone bad, because who's to say that the rules are anything? We make them all up ourselves. Maybe the way that I go true is that I say human resources corporate wasn't for me. And I finally was true to myself, and I started my own consulting company and, started to live my own dream. Maybe I don't want to drink alcohol. Maybe I want to have a Shirley Temple at my goodbye office party, and I'm going to own it. And that's me owning, being a good role model. But not that anything's wrong with alcohol. Just for me, I'm a highly sensitive person, empathic, and it just feels gross, and my body just doesn't respond well to it. So just owning who you are, and that's what I'm doing on Periscope, just showing up. Sometimes I wear a pink wig, and I just show that there's many parts for myself. So I wear my real hair below, and I wear the pink wig on top, and I just, show up and start telling my story, which will eventually go into a book, but I'm just loving.
I was just going to bring that up, Steph, because I know you both, and Christy has produced a book, so she would be a good person to reach out to and ask her how to get started. I'm sure she can give you some coaching on that. And isn't that what we're doing right now? We're networking the No Rules Way, introducing people to each other, talking about how they can help each other out. I mean, I'm
going to have some lemon water toast to that.
Coffee for me. Good job, ladies. This has been awesome. I do have to say that I love the phrase that you coined for me a few minutes ago, because I'm going to start using it.
Which one?
We have a great opportunity to teach people how to connect.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that.
You said it. I learn best by writing what I hear. I've always been a visual learner. So when I'm in Periscopes, I often paraphrase and take notes, and people say, thank you. I'm like, I'm doing it for me, but I know it helps people too.
Well, I hadn't considered it till you did that, till you typed that into the chat. And now I like that.
Awesome. I'm so glad to help with that. I think it's so important because I love networking. I've never not liked it, but I think the one piece that I used to not like about it is that I never knew what I was networking for. I knew I loved people. I knew I loved eating. I knew I loved, showing and handing business cards, but I was like, but what am I doing this for? And that's what this phase of my life now is about, saying this is what I do and owning it. But I'm determined to enjoy the process while I go about that.
Because now you're actually in a different game. So when we talk about no rules, every game that we're in has a different set of rules to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have got a blab glitch, you guys. Sorry, because AJ Anthony is trying to get in here too, and it's not working for him either. It took Stephanie about 4 tries, AJ. So I don't know.
So hang in there.
Okay.
I can still give him props for trying.
Okay, you're gonna have to try again.
But one of the things to think about is that whenever we're going through life changes, we're just changing the game. We're not playing. I'm not playing corporate game anymore. I'm playing my game. I'm in a change now. I'm not playing that person's game. I'm playing my game. Mm-hmm. And here's what I want my game to look like and my rules. And if I don't, I'll make the rules up as I go along. And you can either figure it out or you won't.
But and I think it's so much better. It's just a total different game-changing experience. By the way, I love your Wonder Woman cup. I see Superman too now, the second time around. That we have this platform. Like, I have been trying to do this all alone ever since I left my job in corporate, building my consulting business. And I meet people at networking events for spiritual entrepreneurs. I get a business card, and then personally, I'd make a great connection. I'd be all excited. I'd be like, well, they live in Brooklyn. I live in the suburbs. How am I going to meet up with them? It's going to take so much effort to build this relationship. And then I would never reach out, or they never would. And then you don't feel like you have a deep relationship. But in just 3 months of Periscope, and I'm a part of a Perry 10K, It's a online mastermind community for inspirational speakers. They're trying to be the TEDx of Periscope. Those people have been
down, by the
so supportive of me and just allowing me to show up and just say what I need to say through all the glitches of my beginning Periscopes where I just couldn't get the words out. I've never met a group of more supportive people in my life, and I feel like I know them so well because every day, twice a day, we talk about a topic that's meant to help you in your personal and professional development, and like limiting beliefs or how to make money online. And people are just showing up, whether you're a speaker or not, and just feeling better because consistently the same people are going to show up and rotate and talk about something that's going to help you. And I think that's something I've always looked for in my life. I love going to these events, but then I would leave and I'd feel sad. Like, there's all these cool people here, but I can't get to know them. So the thing about going online to Periscope or Blab, people can, talk out loud on the side, and you get to hear what they need to say in the moment. And people that maybe have trouble speaking up can speak up. And with the encouragement and the cheerleaders of the other people who they're getting to know, it's just such an amazing game changer. I just keep pinching myself because it's all the best parts with like no hassles minus the Blab glitches.
Yes,
for now.
That's wonderful, Steph. And not that I want to cut you off, but we are at the 10:58 moment. Apparently, we lost AJ. I think not only did Blab not let him in, I think it totally kicked him out. I don't know where he went. But at any rate, I do want to recap because we're going to take off here in just a minute and shut this down. Coach Carla, let's see, was it Coach Carla?
Yeah.
Too bad you didn't get a chance to join us. We would love to have you join us another time. Again, we are here every Wednesday, 10 a.m. on Blab. We are networking the No Rules Way with author Christy Smallwood. She shares her book with you. She currently has it on Google Docs so that you're able to read it with us. And we are here teaching people how to connect and inviting them to join us at networklivevirtually.com, where we have virtual networking groups and people join us from all over the world. So ladies, if you'd like to each say something quickly before we wrap this up, we got 1 minute till showtime is over. Miss Christy.
I'm actually just doing like a little paraphrase of the points that we talked about over in the side.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that way, things not to do. That way it's in there because we kind of we went through a lot of things today.
Yeah.
And Steph, thank you very much for bringing up this Perry 10K because I'm interested in doing something like that. I want to look into that for my own self. And I love connecting with people virtually like this. I'm learning a lot more. I'm very excited about the whole opportunities that this whole virtual world has out there for all of us to connect and to grow and to just make the whole world better in our own little pods. So this is exciting.
Awesome. Christy, I just want to recap what we did talk about. We talked about things to not do. Don't overmarket, don't gossip, don't be a pigeon, don't scan while talking, and do be positive. And I just want to recap on don't be a pigeon because that is my favorite item that I have coined as well. So don't just fly by and drop your shit. Go ahead and land and stay for a while. All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you at networklivevirtually.com any day of the week. And we'll see you here on Blab every Wednesday at 10 a.m. with Christy Smallwood.